LMS to do his best wind-up job, which he was fucking brilliant at on Friday night.
That's what he does.
Means that they're gonna be effective, even if they're playing quite poorly. They're gonna be effective, and I think that's something that obviously Warrington and Catalans have found our way to counter on one occasion each this year, and so it'll be interesting to see if they can repeat that dose.
Let's hope so for the good of the competition. But yes, we probably should talk about the City derby. It was Hull FC 23, Hull KR 22. It was 16-10 to the Black and Whites at half-time. Liam Moore, FC's favourite referee, was in charge on this one. So, in terms of team stats, the losing Robins actually made more ground in this game, nearly 300 more metres and nearly 1 metre per carry better average gain. But FC did make an extra break, made 2 fewer errors and conceded 2 fewer penalties. For Hull FC, Manu Mao with 5 tackle busts, 181 metres. Carlos Tumavave with a try assist, 6 tackle busts and 135 metres. Liggy Sow with 123 metres and Joe Cater with 40 tackles, 16 of which were from marker. For KR, Ryan Hall had 7 tackle busts and 171 metres. Matt Parcell, always trying cheeky dummy, 10 marker tackles and 144 metres going forward. George King, who I thought was very good, got himself 128 metres, and Kane Lynette had 123. Again, TV game, lots of fan views.
Yes, and Tom Andrews got the first one. He said, "Sheesh, to come within a point of the world champions takes some effort. Just that clutch play away from the win. Missing Abdul and Quinlan. Jake the Trouser Snake controlled the game and we fell into their game plan instead of playing our own. Further point is what a waste of a squad spot Mar is. Has all the punch of a non-alcoholic beer. Nice to see the FC players parading their families like a true cup final."
David Hunter says, excellent first half by both sides. No tries were both correct calls. KR really good to get on top, but a poor finish to letting 2 tries near the end of the half. Then that second half, enjoyed it so much. Only thing is, why go for the drop goal under pressure when you had time remaining?
Corbin Sims' Ministry of Funny Walks got in touch to say, Black and White Kings of Hull 23, 6-fingered gap tooth states, grounding, soap dodging, sibling shagging, bin dipping, kiddie fiddling, entertaining and much improved, but still not winning a trophy since 1985. Big Red Machine joke of a club that is my OKR 22. Fan review of the week.
Yeah.
By a distance.
I would say so.
And I'm saying that without reading loads of other ones.
The bar is high. AK Steel 69 says, queues formed outside the Women's Refuge in East Hull on Saturday night as the Rovers supporters returned home to throw their wives and girlfriends down the stairs. The score didn't reflect the gap between the two sides thanks to 3 wrongly disallowed tries, disagree, and a baffling decision by Moore to call back Frymo in the act of scoring. Some great performances from Hull, but man of the match for me was Mao, Carlos or Connor.
Yeah, we'll do the tries, I guess, at the end, see what everyone else has to say about them first. Pop the Viking said, a great game to watch for the neutral, tough defence, great tries and loads of passion from both teams.
Joshua's granddad says, the entertainers came from the east and stayed close thanks to a few dubious video ref calls. The Snake back alongside Reynolds and Sneed gave FC the stability and creativity they've been missing. SKD managed to climb out of Loss's pocket long enough to milk a penalty. Vette's big lad with little else, Pertil and Litton the heartbeat of KR. Milnes needs to practice his drop goals. What the hell was he doing at 4-all? Yeah, that's a fair point.
That was weird, weren't it?
Yeah. When they were on top as well. But yeah.
Well, they'd had... How long had they had down at that? They'd had about 8 sets.
It felt like it.
Paul Mac _78 said, the most I've enjoyed a Rugby League game this year, Super League or NRL, it's on my Rugby League bucket list to get to a Hull derby one day.
Josh's granddad's got a second review in. Maybe he forgot.
Yeah.
A great advert for the sport, effort, errors, controversy, and a nail-biting ending. For all the big enough of KR as entertainers, they forgot you need to earn the right to play like that. 5 sets back-to-back before they got a sniff of a score. The Snake having a hand in everything showed that the FC has learnt how to play 5 attacks into their 20, leading to 3 tries and 2 dubious video calls. Video calls? Yeah, video calls, yeah. I'm thinking Skype, but no. Hashtag the city is ours. Hashtag proper derby.
Apart from the thing that gave them their name. But yeah, Sarah Mackenzie, Scoots said, now that's what you call a game. On the pitch, tempers were a lot more controlled than I thought they would be, but it was nerve-wracking. Haven't watched the match back yet, but felt the disallowed tries were harsh at the time. I can certainly understand why, as a fan of your team, when you're watching those disallowed tries, that you would feel like they were harsh, because I think in the heat of the moment in the stadium, watching them on the screen, you can definitely convince yourself that they were harsh calls against your side. Without, I know that I'd be feeling the same if I was watching those calls be given against my side. But dispassionately removed, watching it the day after, because I'd been out all day on Saturday at a stag do, not knowing the final score, but knowing that it got close, because Cass tried to show me what the score was, and I was like, I don't want to know, I want to watch it properly tomorrow. But not having anything in the fight, sort of thing, they did feel like the right call in the end.
Yeah, I had no issue with the calls as soon as, particularly the interference one, where Tumavarvi went over and kind of SKD was blocked. For me, that straight away, that was a no try. I understand why particularly when there's another 20 people around you saying, "Oh, it's a try." But yeah.
So here's I guess the issue in a way I had with that, like being called off, and then I'll talk about why I agree with you that it should have been chalked off. But one issue I had was I always sort of thought if you were ahead of the play, like if you're the other side of the defensive line, is it obstruction sort of thing? Like
as in the line's already been broken.
Yeah. So I did sort of think that, but then, I mean, Reynolds was offside anyway, I thought, from the kick. So then because there was a kick, weren't there, involved? Was there?
I can't remember.
I feel like Reynolds was offside at some point in the play, and then got back involved in the play with that piece of obstruction. So, but this is what I remember thinking yesterday when I was hungover watching it, so maybe I'm remembering it wrong. So I sort of thought there was enough within that to say he's not really involved in the play in a part of the attack sense. All he's there to do is to cause the obstruction, and then therefore he has done that deliberately, and so it's right to rule it out.
Yeah, and to be fair, SKD sold it well. So yeah, no, yes. This is the thing. It's like if Reynolds hadn't been there, I think, and SKD was just trying to get across, he wouldn't have got across because he was already basically over the line. So I don't think he'd have stopped him because, as you said, he was behind him slightly.
Yeah,
he was in catch-up mode. So I think the try would have been scored, but Reynolds getting in the way kind of gave them a reason not to give the try. From my perspective, so I didn't have any problem with that.
And it's Reynolds, so you know he's trying to cheat rather than play fair. Did you hear there was a story doing the rounds that some Hull KR fans threw drinks onto they threw their plastic pots at him at the Hull players when they were celebrating one of the tries, and he picked it up and drank it, but then spat it back out towards the Rovers fans.
I can't say I've heard that.
I saw that doing the rounds somewhere, but don't know how much real truth there was to it, but it's funny anyway. the other one, the one that came a bit earlier on, and that was the Cam Scott one, but it was the leap from Adam Swift, weren't it? Where definitely in the stadium, watching it on the big screen, I don't think you would have been able to convince any Hull FC fan that the ball travelled forwards, because they'd be like, but it's behind him. But because it wasn't a proper pass, because it was a pat back that hit the floor before being picked up, it's ruled. There's no momentum situation to talk about of stuff, so it landed in front of where he touched it. So I think the controversy is gone on that one when you watch it dispassionately.
Yeah, I mean that applies to almost every situation in this game. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I as a neutral didn't have any issue with any of the refereeing in this game. I thought it was broadly fine and didn't disadvantage one team over the other. It was as close as you kind of would expect it to have been, based on their form this year and what's been going on. It's just what's really interesting to me is how differently they play as teams. The way that KR are a bit kind of, happy-go-lucky, why offload it once when you can offload it 20 times type approach. And obviously early on that didn't work because they turned the ball over cheaply like twice. But they didn't stop. They kind of kept playing in that way. And that, for me, that's to their credit. They're not great defensively. I think that's pretty obvious. And kind of FC going in at the break ahead, it felt slightly unrepresentative of the first half. They kind of scored those late tries, and I don't know. I felt like KR kind of just about had the edge at half time. But I mean, from my point of view, with Jake in the team, FC are just a miles better team.
Yeah.
You've just got to have him in the team. You've got to get him in there.
If I was certain he was playing when we did the predictions last week, I would have tipped FC to win because I think he's that much of a difference maker.
Yeah, and he enables everyone else to do their job. He enables Sneyd to do what he does, as limited as that might appear from the outside.
Yeah,
it lets him be a controlling seven, which is, he's not trying to create too much, but he can still have his little bits and pieces, like his little kicks in behind and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it allows Houghton to not need to try and be creative because that's not his strong suit either. Exactly.
They're a much better balanced side when he's playing at fullback, without question.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a 50-50 call. It was close. I'm obviously KR and not don't have a great history with drop goals. That attempt at 4 apiece, that goes down in the Wigan kicking a penalty kind of box for this week of inexplicable moments of the week. Particularly when he was so badly done as well. It wasn't even particularly competent.
He missed from right in front.
Yeah, exactly. He must have thought he was unmissable, effectively. But
he's learned his lesson.
He certainly has. But I mean, to be fair to Rowan, I mean, I thought he played pretty well.
And scored the try of the game.
Yes, he did. Yeah, very good try.
Great skill, vision from him. He noticed that Conrad had got caught up on the play that kind of had fizzled out just before. But Hull KR being Hull KR, they got offloads away and made something happen still of a play that looked like it was dead. And great play by him.
Yeah, and as much as he may be limited, I thought when he came on, Litton was good. Barsal was always, nibbling away at things. KR played pretty well. There's no kind of, no reason to panic from their point of view.
I don't think Rovers fans would have gone away from this one being too angry and disheartened, other than, you lost to your closest rivals in a close game. But sport isn't always about... You're not always going to win when you go and watch your team play sport. And so I don't think this would have been... I think if Hull FC had lost, there would have been more outrage from their fan base about losing it after. I thought, I kind of disagree with you. I thought FC were the better side in the first half. I think Connor controlled a lot of what was happening in the game, and he was almost